So we had a good chat now about properly inspecting your property or the house you want to buy. Now, number 3 ties very much in with number 2. Number 3 is the Annexure A, or the mandatory disclosure document or report that must be provided by the seller. It is part now of the Property Practitioners Act, so it's a new document that has to be part of the deed of sale or the offer to purchase. What that basically does is the seller says, listen, here on paper, these are the defects or the problems that I am aware of in this property, in my property. Okay, so are there any problems with the roof? Are there leaks? Are there cracks in the walls? Are there problems with the plumbing or whatever the case might be? He has to disclose that on that form, and then the form gets to you, and you as the proposed buyer or the probable buyer, you can decide whether you are happy with this or not. Who must fix that? Are you happy with the property in that state? Is there something that you weren't aware of or something like that? The point of that is to one day, let's say you bought the property, transfer went through, it's registered now in your name, and 6 months down the line, you realize that there's a problem with the roof. Then you can go back to that report. Was it something that the seller knew about beforehand? Should he have known about it? And whose responsibility is, or let's say rather liability, is that then now? So I recently saw an example where the seller signed a blank report and which was accepted by the buyer, and then there were issues. Please, when you get to that stage, when you get that report or that mandatory disclosure form, make sure it's properly filled in. Make sure it's properly signed. And then only after that, after you've addressed all the issues thereon, make sure that you sign it as well. Another thing that I saw in a case that I had to deal with previously is all the things that you and the seller and the estate agent discuss verbally as you go through the property, as you go through the house. Make sure it is written down on the paper. Usually we see a seller and a buyer or an estate agent, they walk through the property and one party would say to the other, I don't know, I'll fix this or I'll do that, or this is not really a problem. It's an old leak, we just have to paint over it or whatever. And then those things are not put down in paper, and then there's problems later on. And if it's not on paper, trying to sort that out due to verbal commitments is just so difficult. So yes, number 3, the mandatory disclosure, make sure that is properly in place.